everyone. I wanted to experience with you my psychedelic mushroom trip in Ann Arbor, Michigan, where it's legalized. I wanted to share my thoughts with you in this experience because my mind is just going through so many interesting revelations in a way that I wanted to share with you. As you know, I've taken a little bit of a vacation and enjoyed myself in Michigan, New Buffalo, Ann Arbor. And we just explored nature together, my husband and I. And what I wanted to share with you all were just some of the deeper thoughts that came to me during my time experimenting. And it really has a lot to do with just opening up my mind more in a way that it might have not been before. What's really wonderful about plants and being able to friend them in a way where you do not just appreciate their outside beauty, but you appreciate the beauty that is inside of the plant itself, which you find when you ingest them, these wonderful properties that are cosmic, divine, and are originally created before space-time. When you digest these into your own body, you are then taken back to that time so that you can remember where you came from. And it is truly beautiful, because if you are in a state of mind where you are seeking for release or seeking for clarity and understanding of life, when you friend a plant, and in this case shrooms, they will exchange information to you or with you and allow it to reconnect the synapses in your brain that then almost reconnect the missing puzzle pieces of your past. And it really is about opening you up to remembering that everything is always perfectly fine. And what I mean by this is that this beautiful gift of nature brings in the true awakening experience in which you learn and remember once again that you are here to watch beauty unfold, to watch art, to see art at every angle and in every moment in your life. And if you find that beauty, if you seek for it, you will realize that the world's troubles, the sufferings that you go through, and the sufferings that you see others go through too, is all part of the journey. It is deeply connected to our choices we have made in the past as well as in the present. Everything sets off a chain reaction of events. There is no injustice in this universe. Everything is exactly the way it is supposed to be. You have suffered in your life through a chain of events that, although they may seem negative, they actually can be positive, helping you further awaken into your true self, your spiritual self, your enlightened being, your divine spark of consciousness that you emanate from. And in Tolkien's world, he called it Eru Iluvatar. So the shrooms are taking me back to that state once again. And I am remembering this in this material state of being. I am fully immersed in the spiritual. I am fully one with the spiritual understanding of everything through this friending partnership with the shrooms. And this is a gift of the fairies. And so those of us that may feel a calling to fairyland and to the realms of imagination and beauty and intrigue, what I have discovered is that it is all leading us towards the same destination. It does not matter what you identify with. It is just a experience. But all these experiences will eventually lead to the same understanding of you being a truly powerful, creative being that really no words can truly describe you in your totality. And I am just a voice right now to remind you of this. And we are one. My experience of going through this kind of shamanic journey into my subconscious through this use of the mushroom has given me this desire to help others see themselves too. This may not be what everyone wants to do. That does take a plant. Some people will experience it differently, but this is where I am on my journey. I am halfway through my journey in this world. I feel my time is fading, very much like the elves. And before I go, I guess I just wanted to leave behind love, to leave behind more beauty. And maybe that is exactly what we are each supposed to do. We aid to the grand universe, to creation, to create something new. And together, all our creations equal something greater that equals one. We are the one and we are the many. I want to tell you also about this amazing experience with this game called Eastshade. Eastshade is an Xbox game, and it was created and designed by a man named Danny and a wonderful team of people that as you get deeply involved in this game, you understand that they are on the side of trying to free the mind, trying to help illuminate all humanity. We are essentially all working at that, but we work at different times and paces in which we come to our own awakening, and then we can help others realize who they are. And we may do this in many different ways. I experienced this awakening through an elevation of the self. The idea of inspiring ourselves to become our higher versions of ourselves, to see ourselves grow or to remember who we once were. And this is what I call the Elven soul, one that was displayed in Tolkien's book as something of the past as well as something for the future of people and of our own selves to look up to. When you align yourself with the Elven path, my life has taken on a beautiful journey of remembrance of my past, and this game reminds me of so much of that. You know, in its own way, the creators of Eastshade are trying to bring people into their realization of who they are and looking at their past history as people, but then also understanding ourselves as a greater consciousness as well that is awakening. So this game is very complex with these themes of psychedelics and looking at science versus religion, and how there seems to be this battle of the two, but they are not really separate. They support each other in this journey to know ourselves. Science through investigation, through looking deeper at things, through questioning, through testing and experimenting, trying to get to the truth of who we are deep inside. Religion claims to already know the pathway, but we are in a material existence as spiritual beings. So the way to truly master this realm is when you embody both the material and the spiritual as one. And yes, shrooms can be a great spiritual aid for this. You can also get there through meditative practices. You can get there through your own types of rituals or ways that you evoke higher spirits. And bringing that energy into you, it's all one. It is not something separate outside of yourself. And this is what Emanuel Swedenborg knew about the spiritual world too. A very famous philosopher, a mystic, a theologian, and people always looked up to him in the past, as well as the philosopher Kant, who described him as having that rare combination of logic and spirituality as one, which is something that I personally try to embody and embrace. And so Emanuel Swedenborg is a very interesting character to learn more from if you are interested in that spiritual realm, the realm of the spirits unseen, ghosts, fairies, even extraterrestrials, higher entities that are unseen. It's all about communication with these spirits that you learn are really just partners in your journey to know thyself. We have partners that are partnered with us in the spiritual realm. They are not something outside of the self. It's all about you gaining your self-confidence and knowing your true power in this world to navigate through life. Once you have that down, then nothing can faze you any longer. You are stepping out of the matrix of the suffering state of the ego. You are one with everything. You can embody an identity, which is your ego, which is not a negative thing at all. It gives you a vessel to live life and experience life and beauty and art from. And we all have many different vessels that we try on. But you are in yours for a very particular reason. And if you want to really dive deep into the consciousness of that, there are tools that can help you. Psychedelics are one. So what's so touching about this game, Eastshade, is that it is part of the fight to decriminalize nature, which is what Ram Dass and Timothy Leary and Terence McKenna all were part of. They have been activists, and there are many people still today that are still trying to get this release on this, the fear and the laws that are pertaining to psychedelics. I have a theory about this. As all the states start to slowly decriminalize psychedelics and allow people access to their spiritual realms, like the ancient shamans of the past, the druids of the forests, and many other civilizations that took part in special herbal teas and had a beautiful experience of transversing their own consciousness. It's not mind altering in the idea that you will see things that are not there. You will see things for what they truly are inside of you. You will get clarity on your situations that are outside of this moment. It's almost like space-time kind of stops for a moment. It allows you to jump into this place of objectivity where you can look at your life at this point and understand, why has it not maybe gone the right way that you have wanted it to? Or how has it gone the right way? And you will have beautiful experiences showing and reflecting that. Don't be afraid. Don't ever be afraid of transversing the consciousness that is deep within yourself. It is the only way that you can get to the truth and the true power within yourself. It is truly the only way. You can do it through meditative practices. You can get there to that point, but that takes a lot of dedication and time. But something that the ancients knew is that through teas like this, or through just simple shrooming, this is a way in which you can get there to a place where meditative practices almost cannot take you to unless you first friend nature. If this makes sense, what I want to say is that those that are trying to meditate and do yoga and get into those meditative practices, if they are not fully one with nature, they still will not understand this connection with all other beings and be one with the universe, listening to that still voice within themselves in that meditative state. When you take the shrooms, you are actually having a more direct experience. So it's different. I have done both in my life. I'm telling you that there is a difference. Meditation I have done daily. Yoga I have practiced as well. I haven't done yoga in a little bit, but meditation I do all the time. And I actually do it quite religiously, if we can call it that, a word, in terms of meditation. Because you can meditate in many different ways, not just sitting down and still, but also when you're taking a walk, when you're sitting in a bathtub, And even if you are not doing anything at all, and you're not in a proper yoga studio or a Buddhist temple, but you're just quiet and still for a moment, and you just kind of listen. Listen, really listen to what your soul is trying to tell you. This is going beyond the daily mind that is programmed basically just to go through your life experience. It's not programmed by anything else. There are no other entities out there that are outside of you. This is something you must always remember, because we can play this game of having dark entities and light entities and, dark extraterrestrials and light extraterrestrials and all this. But truly, everything is one. And you can find ways to make friends with that side of your own spirit within yourself by realizing what the darkness wants to uncover, to know what it might be scared of. And this is reality, not movies and entertainment in terms of darkness. This is real life, because truly on an energetic level, you are one with even your darkness. And there is no outside forces trying to get to you or hurt you or anything of that sort. So the beauty of nature is to nurture you once again, to remove those fears, to show you the beauty of balance that is at work, that death itself is not, it's not an enemy, but really it comes down to just choices. Choices really create the next moment in our lives. And there are ways that things happen to us that seem to come out of left field. The argument about why do bad things happen to children at an early age who are innocent, this is very true. But what I have learned as somebody who has experienced hard things in childhood is that I did not call that into my experience in a way that I think. I did not deserve the pain and the abuse that others gave to me. But what comes after the pain and the abuse is a beautiful experience and transformation that cannot be foreseen until later on you go through and you heal from those tragedies and experiences. Tolkien knew this, and he said basically that through every grief that we may experience, it is only to make love grow stronger. And this is something I very much believe. This is why bad things happen to good people. It's so that the good can triumph, can move forwards, and they can heal. And they can have the most beautiful transformative experience that leads them into being a healer to others later on, to helping others find their way through the darkness and through the pain of this world. But through that light, like in Plato's cave idea, the allegory of the cave, if you come out, you see all the shadows in the cave, but if you come out into the light, coming out of that cave, you will see the true world that surrounds you. So there is no more fear of the shadows in that cave. Meaning that there's no more fears or anger or resentment towards those that harmed you, you realize their role that they played. Not by your design, of course. It's their choice. This is the most beautiful thing, is that we are all absolutely, completely free agents of change and creation ourselves. We do not make anyone do anything. We do not make anything happen to us when it comes to other beings with other free wills. But what we do with that experience can lead us into a transformation and a spiritual awakening, or it can lead us to our suffering states. But I will tell you, being a melancholy type of personality, I will say that through abuse, through cruelty, and through things that I have endured, I have finally made it through and realized why I went through all of that. And I have become stronger for it. And you can too. And so I leave this message, I guess, as sort of like a memoir. But memoirs are not done for fame or glory. They're done to help other souls along the way. When you reach a certain point in your path and you're ready to transition or move on, and I'm not talking about me leaving Earth right away, but I am halfway there, and I am very aware of that. I'm not a young girl any longer, and I know that. I am in the mother / crone stage almost. Maybe more mother stage in terms of the 3 goddesses, but I am no longer a maiden. And so when you know what your phase is in terms of understanding that, where you are in life, you can then make a choice to see what you want to do with the rest of your life. And I guess that's why I had that near-death experience, to show me something again about myself, so that I could come back into this body in 2016, I believe I made my channel. I think at the end of it. Time escapes me right now, so I'm sorry if I get the years wrong. But whenever I started my channel, it was this involuntary thing I brought back with me from the spiritual realm, of seeing myself enter into this, not a black hole, but a wormhole, a tunnel of light, a wormhole into the next experience. But I was not ready yet. I still had so much more to experience and to do that was part of this vessel's choice, or my consciousness choice, and in this personality that I existed in when I was born. It seems like souls that come to Earth, they are imprinted already with kind of a story. So I believe in both free will and destiny. We can change it at any point in time, but there is this kind of pre-written way of looking at our destinies. It is our myth. It is our birth myth, basically. And it can be found in astrology, but it also can be found just through self-reflective practices and going deeper within and understanding who you really are in terms of the energy, the archetypes that you embody. What has your lessons been in life? What have you been learning? What have you been working on? What have you been growing towards? Taking all of this will help you into advancing spiritually. And so this is the stage I'm at. And I really, truly love sharing all these ideas with you. And so I hope it helps those that may need it at a time. Like I said, I think you get to a point in your journey where you realize like all you can really do is give back to other souls in a way that is about you continuing a circle. When you were lost, or when you were trying to seek for things and you're going through so much pain and suffering and you felt so alone, after you come out of that and you heal from that years later, or however long it takes, you will remember that pain that was imprinted in your psyche, and then you will want to remove it and help alleviate the suffering from other souls. Of course, this is not the choice that everybody makes, but for some reason, it is mine. And this is the reason why I make videos. And it is a silly hobby of an old Elven soul sharing experiences with people that will listen. But every time I eat a mushroom, I am taken into the realm of magic and faery. Not that I'm actually seeing things and hallucinating, that's not it at all, but that I see my own life in more of a magical way. And I do this also without shrooming, of course, but it becomes heightened and amplified within me. And that's kind of what the nature partnership does when you take part in shroom teas. It's just been a great experience for me to let myself go in this way, to remember my past. And like the game Eastshade, if you get into it and you really want to know more deeper about it, it has a lot to do with psychedelics and how it was a tool of the ancients. And so this is something that I am sharing with you all, passing it down once again, just as the ancients did, to their younger generations or to their fellow kin. And I have more to say, but I think that is all right now. I'm going to just sit back and enjoy this space. Take care, everyone. And may this information help you find your own way.